What's up, guys? Welcome to the Line Change. And in this video, we're going to be talking about which Canucks will be at the 2026 Winter Olympics. Now, the Winter Olympics is a topic we haven't really discussed or chatted about much here on this channel. So I thought it would be an interesting video to do, especially with the lack of Vancouver Canucks content out there. It's something to talk about, and it gives you guys some content for me. Well, I guess gives me content to share with you. We're going to go over which Canucks will be at the 2026 Winter Olympics. But before I dive into that, I want to thank my sponsor, Gassy Jack Art, maker of that incredible and amazing artwork you see there behind me. You guys can get your hands on some of your own at GassyJackArt.com. You can also find them on Instagram at GassyJackArt. So let's go ahead and dive into our topic. This article, of course, as always, or rather for the most part, is brought to us by our friends at Canucks Army, in particular Tyson Cole. And he goes on to say, NHL players will have an opportunity to represent their nation as they will finally be allowed to participate in the 2026 Winter Olympics. The IIHF announced earlier in the summer that 6 players were named to all 12 of the participating countries' preliminary rosters. Starting off with Canada, you have Sidney Crosby, Nathan MacKinnon, Cale Makar, Connor McDavid, Braden Point, and West Vancouver's Sam Reinhart. For Czechia, you have David Pastrnak, Marty Necas, Andre Palat, Pavel Zacha, Radko Gudas, and Lukas Dostal. For Denmark, you have Frederik Andersen, Nikolai Ehlers, Oliver Bjorkstrand, Jesper Hansen-Abo, Lars Eller, and Jonas Rönnberg. For Finland, you have Jussi Saros, Esa Lindell, Miro Heiskanen, Mikko Rantanen, Alexander Barkov, and Sebastian Aho. For France, you have, and now these names I might butcher, Johan Avidu, I think that's how you pronounce it, Jules Bosk, Hugo Galette, Alexander Texier, Pierre-Edouard Bellemare, and Jordan Perret. For Germany, you have Leon Draisaitl, Mo Seider, Philipp Grubauer, Lukas Reichel, Nico Sturm, and Tim Stützle. For Italy, you have Damien Clara, Thomas Larkin, Luca Zanata, Diego Costner, Tommy Perdeller, and Daniel Mantenuto. For Latvia, you have Rodrigo Abels, Uvis Balinskis, Zemgus Girgensson, Elvis Merzlikins, Artur Silovs, and Teddy Bluger. For Slovakia, you have Slavkovsky, Martin Popisel, Simon Nemec, Martin Ferraveri, Eric Chernak, and Tomas Tatar. For Sweden, you have Rasmus Dahlin, Victor Hedman, Adrian Kempe, Gabriel Landeskog, William Nylander, and Lucas Raymond. For Switzerland, you have Jonas Siegenthaler, Roman Josi, Kevin Fiala, Nico Hischier, Nino Niederreiter. Say that 10 times fast. Timo Meier, and then, of course, USA, Matthew Tkachuk, Brady Tkachuk, Austin Matthews, Jack Eichel, Quinn Hughes, and Charlie McAvoy. As you can see, just 2 Vancouver Canucks were named to their preliminary roster, Captain Quinn Hughes and Teddy Bluger. There were 3 before the Artur Silovs trade. However, there are still 19 other roster spots for each country, leaving the door open for other Canucks players to represent their country. Here's a list of 4 Canucks who will likely be selected to participate in Italy. First up, we have Elias Pettersson. One of the bigger shocks when Sweden announced the 6 players on their preliminary roster was not seeing Elias Pettersson's name among them, although it's hard to blame them. Not only did he struggle with the Canucks last season, but he was also nowhere to be found when he represented Team Sweden at the Four Nations face-off. Pettersson was held without a point throughout the entire tournament, registering just 2 shots on goal while averaging under 14 minutes of ice time per game. His poor play saw him move down to the third line, with his minutes diminishing all the same. Now, that performance is likely the reason Pettersson was left off the preliminary roster. However, Pettersson remains one of Sweden's best centers and will undoubtedly still make the Olympic roster. Next up, we have Filipino. This, of course, all depends on the health of Filipino at the time of selection. There's no concern about his head injuries throughout the offseason, but everything can change with one hit. However, if Chytil manages to remain healthy, there shouldn't be any doubt about him making the Czechia Olympic roster. Down the middle, the Czechs are going to need Chytil's speed on the roster. They have Tomas Hertl, Pavel Zacha, and Yuri Kulich as the other NHL centermen projected to make the team. 39-year-old Roman Cervenka is another center option. Chytil ranked in the 90th percentile in top skating speed last season, while the 3 others did not crack the top 50th percentile. He may not be as polished an NHL player as the rest of the players projected to make the roster, but his speed is an added element that only Marty Necas can match. We'll just see if his health can hold up. Next up, we have Filip Hronek. This was another surprising omission from the preliminary roster announcement. The nation announced Anaheim Ducks defenseman Radko Gudas ahead of Hronek, despite the Canucks defenseman quarterbacking the Czechs' top power play unit at the Four Nations. However, there shouldn't be much doubt about him being on the roster. According to the projected Czechia lineup, Hronek certainly stands out as the highest profile defenseman. David Jiricek, David Spacek, and Jan Ruda join Hronek and Gudas as the only active NHL Czechia defenseman projected to crack the lineup. Hronek shared the lead in points by a Czech defenseman with Jakub Krejcik during the Four Nations faceoff, so his spot on the roster shouldn't be questioned. Next up, we have Kevin Lankinen. After a fantastic start to what became a breakout campaign, Lankinen caught the attention of the selection committee for Team Finland at the Four Nations faceoff, starting the tournament as UC Saros' backup. Lankinen quickly became an option after the Nashville Predators netminder allowed 4 goals in the third period alone to Team USA. Finland turned to Lankinen for their big matchup against Sweden, where he stopped 21 of 24 shots, en route to the Finns' only victory of the tournament. Lankinen would start a must-win game against the Canadiens, but was pulled after allowing 4 goals in just over 1 period. However, with only 10 active Finnish netminders, Lankinen should be able to carve out a role as one of the top 3 puck stoppers to represent their country. Next up, we have some question marks, and this pertains to Team USA. There is a trio of American Canucks skaters who we here at Canucks Army could see making the team. First off, the best odds to make the team, we have goaltender Thatcher Demko. We are just 1 season removed from Demko's Vezina runner-up campaign. Before it was announced that Demko would not be ready for the start of the 24-25 season, many believed he would be on the Americans' Four Nations face-off roster with Jeremy Swayman and Jake Ottinger battling for the final spot. However, the injury concern held him entirely off the American roster, but if he manages to stay healthy during the 25-26 season, Demko should draw consideration for Team USA. Secondly, we look at a pair of Canucks forwards, Brock Boeser and Connor Garland. Boeser is a more high-profile player for his goal-scoring ability. However, he'd likely need a big start to the season to command serious consideration. He will be competing with the likes of Cole Caulfield and Tage Thompson, who are also categorized as snipers and did not make the American Four Nations team, who had considerably better seasons than Boeser did last year. The more intriguing option might actually be Connor Garland. You might not categorize Garland as one of America's best skaters. However, his performance at the IIHF World Championships should not be overlooked. Garland finished the tournament with 5 goals and 10 points in 10 games, good for a tie for third on Team USA. Not only that, but he took home Player of the Game honors in a 6-3 victory over Germany, nabbing 2 goals and 4 points. Having such recent success at the international level will likely hold more weight than one might think. However, it is still an uphill battle for Garland to make the team given the depth, but don't completely rule it out just yet. What do you think, Canucks fans? Did we miss anybody who will be making their respective Olympic roster? Be sure to let me know in the comment section down below. Yeah, were there any omissions from this list? Go ahead and fire away. Put them in the comment section down below. And let me know what you guys think. And as always, if you guys like this video, be sure to hit that like button. And if you want to stay up to date on all your Vancouver Canucks content, be sure to smash that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you don't miss a single video. You can find us on social media. Find us on Facebook. Just search The Line Change to find our Facebook page. You can find us on Instagram at The Line Change. You can find us on X at Line Change Van. You can find us on TikTok at the TLC Podcast. You can also find us on Blue Sky at The Line Change. Feel free to give us a follow on all of our social media platforms. If you prefer an audio version of this podcast, you can find us on both Spotify and Apple Podcast. On Spotify, feel free to give us a follow, as well as rate and review us. It is, of course, greatly appreciated. But that's going to do it for this video. Before I sign off, though, I just want to make a quick note. This will be the last video I will be doing for the weekend. I will be busy Saturday. I have a softball tournament all day Saturday. And then Sunday, which I normally don't post videos, at least as of the last couple weeks or so, I've been kind of taking Sundays off. This time, on top of that, Sunday is actually my birthday, and I'll also be playing softball during the day. And then I have, birthday dinner. But if you are interested, I will be on Canuck Clay's show Sunday night for my birthday. He's having me on as a guest. So if you guys want to tune into that way you guys will be able to see me. Me and Clay will talk about probably a whole bunch of stuff. Canucks related, non-Canucks related, wrestling related. Who knows what will happen on Clay's Canucks commentary. But yeah, I will be on Clay's Canucks commentary Sunday night. So there will be no videos Saturday or Sunday. Next video will be coming on Monday. I actually happen to have Monday off. So I'll probably, scrounge for some content for Monday. So who knows, maybe I'll do those Sunday night and then post them Monday morning or something like that. But that is the plan for this weekend. So this will be the last video that will be coming out Friday. And then, like I said, no video Saturday or Sunday. And then the next one will be Monday. So with that being said, let's go Canucks. And I'll see you guys in the next video.